Dan with a look at the forecast. Hey, Dan.
Hey, Aaron, we get hot and dry inland, and then the wind picks up in the afternoon as the sea breeze turns on. And near the coast, that's a moist air, a moist wind anyway. But by the time you reach the inland areas, it dries out a little bit. So especially when that wind really picks up in the early afternoon, the fire danger increases quite a bit because you've got the dry wind kicking in. Eventually, the moisture from the coast does to some extent penetrate the inland locations, and you have a little bit less of the wave of dry wind, but it's those late afternoon hours that are critical around here, so just keep that in mind and be careful. Temperatures are warm again today, but the wind's still kicking up in our inland valleys. We're seeing some gusts closing in on 20 miles per hour. Very typical for our summer afternoons to see the wind blowing in the valleys, and that's where we are. It's basically the reason for that is the heating across the central portion of the state. This area highlighted in orange is a heat advisory, which is for all of the Central Valley really into the weekend, with temperatures there in the triple digits and expected to stay that way. And with all that heating, it just starts tugging on the coastal atmosphere. We get the winds that pick up and all that air tries to get pulled into the Central Valley. So the wind will keep going over the valleys over the next couple of days. And in this area of high pressure, while it's wavering a little bit right now, there's a weak trough right here. That's going to cool us down a bit tomorrow, but then the ridge will back into the region as we head into the day Friday. So we're going to go down, then up, and then back down again eventually as we head through the weekend. So some temperature fluctuations in the coming days. Here's a look at FutureCast overnight tonight. Low clouds filling back in around the bay and into the interior valleys. Patchy fog possible, more so inland and up in the hills. Around the coast, you may see some drizzle as we head into tomorrow morning, and a couple of spots may be wet. Watch out for some wet patches on the roads tomorrow morning. In the afternoon tomorrow, I do expect the clouds to kind of hang on a little bit more so than they have over the last couple of days. So just a touch more gloomy perhaps on the south and east sides of the bay. We'll get some sun, I think, poking through in Santa Cruz, but not a ton of it. Inland areas obviously will be sunny, and then tomorrow night the clouds will thicken back up again as we head into the late evening hours. And as a result of the slightly cloudier conditions on the coast, of cool temperatures down a bit for you tomorrow. 68 in Santa Cruz and 60s in Capitola. In the mountains, it'll still be a little bit warmer. We'll find a little enclave of 80s into the Boulder Creek and Ben Lomond area back on the coast now. To Davenport, you're going to stay in the 60s. 60s also on the east shore of the bay, all the way into Watsonville and Prunedale. 70 in Salinas, 70s in Hollister tomorrow. 80s in the Santa Clara Valley, but not even in the 90s. Farther south on the Salinas Valley, or I should say the Monterey Peninsula, will be in the 60s tomorrow. In fact, Monterey cools to 66. And then in the south, the Salinas Valley, we'll see highs in the 70s and 80s. So just a little bit cooler. A few 90s in the south, no triple digits in the forecast tomorrow. But they'll be back, I think, on Friday for most inland locations, or some inland locations. So looking at that extended forecast on the coast, temperatures heading back upward Friday into Saturday. That weather system will pass by Sunday, bring in a little gasp of cool air. That'll cool us down a bit, and then we'll warm back up Monday and Tuesday. A lot more sunshine in the forecast, I think, on the coast. The gloomier times will probably be behind us as we get a little bit more mixing in our marine layer. So while there will still be some low cloud cover, just not near as much. Inland areas warming back up Friday and Saturday, cooling back down on Sunday, actually quite a bit, and then heading back upward as we head through midweek next week.